Back on Get Up, time for a game of either or. Dominique, are you taking the Dolphins or the Bills to win the AFC East?
Yeah, I'm taking the Dolphins. I thought their performance against the Cowboys was a pretty impressive game. The way their defense is playing has been really impressive. And I think the Bills, they're going to do the things that the Bills do offensively, which is really great. And then sometimes they turn the ball over. And that defense, it's been playing better despite the injuries. I can't imagine it's going to continue to hold up. I do think we're probably going to end up with a game for the division, the last game of the year between the Bills and Dolphins, which will be fun.
That would be exciting. Kimberly, are you taking Lamar Jackson or Christian McCaffrey for MVP after Week 16?
Y'all are killing me with this MVP talk. Just give it to CMC at this point. I think the problem with the award now is that it's either the QB award or it's the best QB. I feel like the goalposts keep moving. When it comes to, we always seem to add a new quarterback every single week, and it's been Dak and then Brock and now Lamar and a lot of prisoner of the moment moments. So if we're gonna just go strictly based off of consistency from start of the season to now, just give it to CMC and let's be done with it.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a strong case, that's for sure. Swagoo, in the NFC right now, you got to make a pick. Are you taking the 49ers to win the conference or are you taking the field?
The San Francisco Treat. Okay, listen, I'm not letting that one game against the Ravens make me forget about all of the things that I've watched the 49ers be dominant about all season long. And like I said, I think it's an aberration that you are going to have that many turnovers. This football team is not built that way. They take care of the football for the most part. I don't think Brock Purdy is going to play that bad. The injuries are my concern, my only concern with the San Francisco 49ers, but they are the best team in the NFC consistently throughout the whole season.
Well, if they keep winning, maybe we'll get to hear the rest of that song, because I don't know exactly
Do we want to hear the rest?
No, part of me does, but I'm also like I'm mindful of the audience.
No, you don't want to hear it.
Right? And what they might want. So let's move along.
The audience
Dominique,
love my vocals, Grimes. Stop hating.
No, it was great. Yeah, fantastic. I look forward to your holiday album next year. Neek, the Niners got smoked by the Ravens. Was that a bad game or a bad sign for Brock Purdy?
Yeah, I mean, it's only a bad sign if every other team in the NFC is able to acquire the talent that the Ravens have. So, yeah, they're going to be fine against most teams. Yeah, I think that's not going to happen. The Ravens aren't going to send all their players to play in the NFC. I think that they're going to be fine against most teams. They're better than every team in the NFC. I don't see them getting in the precarious situations that the Ravens put them in. And those turnovers, while Brock, that first one, unacceptable turnover. The other three, they can be explained away a little bit and feel a little bit random and lucky. I don't imagine that he'll have another 4-interception game. And the crazy thing is they managed to still keep that game close, and they ran the ball well. I think that's the real thing, and Spears will like to hear this point. They ran the ball well against the Ravens. If that game doesn't get out of hand, they don't turn it over as much as they do earlier, we might be looking at a different game. And as long as they can run the ball against everybody, which it seems like they can, they're going to be tough to beat, especially in December and January and February.
I feel like Kimberly, maybe because he was where he was drafted, like people are always going to be sitting around waiting for this.
They are
right for Brock Purdy.
Waiting for he stinks, and it's not that. And I'm not talking about us on this set. I think in general, people are not believing that he's the reason for the season. And for their season. And I think when you look at Brock throughout the season, he's put up some of the best statistical numbers. So when we're talking about the MVP, when we're talking about these races, how valuable he is, we're talking about the accuracy, when we're talking about his ability to throw in tight windows. Yes, Sunday was a bad game in my opinion, but this is a guy who last year, getting hurt in the NFC title game against the Eagles, his teammates were devastated because they were like, with Brock Purdy and this roster, we are winning it all. And that's how the 49ers feel now. Monday night was one of those gut check moments. I think they're going to be better for it, having lost to the Ravens.
Now, Purdy, of course, had to leave that game with an injury, but it seems like he's good. Yeah, Swagoo, I was about to get to you. You want to talk about Purdy before I ask you my question?
Okay, so here's the thing. Like, we all have watched football, and Kate Martin's right. We've seen Brock Purdy play phenomenal football. There's no question about that. the thing that has frustrated me about this conversation when we start talking about is Brock Purdy good or is he not good? Yes, he's good. He's played well. It just blows my mind when we start bringing in these comparisons to Joe Montana. And if he would have played against Philly, they would have won the game. We don't know that. Philly was the best team in the NFC last year. We don't know if he would have been, if he would have stayed healthy, they would have won the game. Jalen Hurts was playing, guess who Jalen Hurts was playing better than? Brock Purdy. That's who he was playing better than last year. So we like all of this stuff that we got to bring up. This team has been really, really good. He's absolutely elevated what they can do from an offensive standpoint based on the way that he's played. But now we're here, all right? We just saw Brock Purdy first opportunity against a real Super Bowl contender. It was a bad game, a bad performance. Do I think that's going to carry over? No. But that is absolutely something that we have to bring into the equation when we start looking forward to them going win a Super Bowl.
The one thing I wanted to ask you, though, Swagoo, it was a bad sign that their left tackle, Trent Williams, couldn't finish that game. If he has an injury that costs him time, how big a deal is that for Purdy and the rest of that team?
Great question.
Thank you.
It's the biggest deal. It's the biggest deal because we saw Jadeveon Clowney start having his way late in that game when Trent Williams was out of the game. And it probably resulted in the fact that Brock Purdy ended up on the sideline when Shanahan was like, nah, I'm not sending you back out there with a backup left tackle either. So
with those animals eating.
What Trent Williams, what he means to this team from a run and a protection standpoint. Because remember, this team is all about the ability to have a timing passing game. That's been Brock Purdy's strength. Without Trent Williams, that timing does not exist. Yeah. It's based on the people that you're going to have to play. Foxy, go ahead, because I know you had to say something earlier.
Yeah, no, I also see in the Brock Purdy conversation, one thing that we have to throw in there is I noticed in that game when he started having issues, Kyle Shanahan turtled up with his play calling. He wasn't letting Brock take aggressive shots down the field, and that says something about them. We're down. We need to make a run, and he throwing screen passes to Deebo Samuel and trying to get checkdowns to Christian McCaffrey. And it seemed like there's something about Brock, and there's good and bad with every player and every quarterback, and they mentioned it on the telecast that he is humble and cocky, and sometimes the cocky gets in the way of his success. And I think he wants to make big plays, and he wants to be the reason, and he watched Lamar Jackson be the game changer and the game manager. If you notice, watching him in that game, Lamar Jackson's making smart game management decisions, and then he knows when to make those big plays, and that comes with experience. And that's something that, without being critical of Brock Purdy, he's already incredibly beat the odds as Mr. Irrelevant. So we don't have to be like down on him. He's very good. But there's something, even if you're number one overall pick, some of this stuff takes time. Some of this maturation takes time. This confidence takes time. And I think he's a very good quarterback who has astronomical great numbers. And a lot of those numbers that take him from good to great is the people around him, including the coach and including the players. And I think that's a fair assessment of what Brock Purdy is right now. We'll see what he does in these big playoff games.
And we'll see if there's anybody in that NFC field that can give him the same kind of test that the Ravens did.
Foxy, when you say that, he ain't Joe Montana, so you hating. Go ahead, Grass.
It wasn't Fox that said he was Joe Montana.
Sorry.
That was a different guy sitting at this desk. I don't remember.
No, I know. I'm just saying.
It might have rhymed with Schmex Schmeyen. I don't know if that's exactly the guy that it was. I got to get to break. We got sponsors. We come back. We got Kansas Pity. What is wrong with the Chiefs, and is there any magic left in that Mahomes arm that can save the season? But first, we got sneaky trivia time for Neek. This is Sneaky Darius in for Hembo today. Which team has the most games this season with multiple turnovers?